video games are for nerds. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about them. That's why you're listening to The Week in Gaming, the only gaming podcast that breaks down the last 7 days and tears games apart from the inside. Ugh. So forget your worries, open your ears, and join Simon Miller and a co-host for the entertainment chatter you need. Also, screw Dark Souls.
Hello, my name is Simon Miller, and welcome to the only gaming podcast in the world, fact, The Week in Gaming, an audio show that takes you through the last 7 days in video games and lets you know what's good, what's bad, or indifferent. You never know, maybe everything that happened in this week has been average and nobody has any kind of opinion on it. If that is true, it's probably going to be a bit of a boring podcast, but luckily, that's not the case at all. As always, I'm joined by the man of the hour, Sam. Sam, how are we today?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm happy. I'm excited. A lot went down since we last did our... Well, I wouldn't say a lot went down. One thing went down, e.g. the Game Awards. And the Game Awards, basically, as it always does, just crapped out a bunch of games. Some of which sounded quite good. Some of which I never need to hear about again. But hey, look. I know it's kind of old hat, but there are some stuff that actually Sam and I can talk about specifically. So I thought, well, I've got a list up here. I'm going to run down them all. The one we are going to talk about in depth, and Sam is going to give you all that information in a second, is Far Cry. But just in case you don't know, maybe you only have a passing interest in games, and maybe you just tune into this podcast because you like to be updated. I don't want to let you down, and we'll kind of throw some analysis on there as we go. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 Black Order is exclusive for Switch. I thought it was kind of cool, to be honest. I think that's quite a cool announcement. I think it's a cool exclusive to Switch to have. I mean, it's not going to change it. It's not going to change the world. But the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games are fine. I think they're quite, fun to a point. And given we haven't had one in about 7 years or whatever, I think it's longer than that, actually. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was nice.
That's literally the first I've heard of it. So yeah,
it's good. I think the last one came out in 2009. I can't remember. I did see a date earlier, but now it slipped from my brain. But I like Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. I think I'm a bit biased because I remember there were some of the first ones I reviewed when I actually got into video games. But they are fun. They're never going to light up the world. But I thought it was a nice exclusive for Nintendo to get. It's just one of those tick boxes. Also being developed by Team Ninja. I don't understand what Team Ninja do nowadays. Just like some weird gun for hire. But hey,
they do what they want.
Yeah, they do. We're going to do Far Cry. Obviously, Far Cry New Dawn got announced, but we will come back to that in a second because Sam can give you all the details. I will just say, because we usually forget release dates, it comes out February 15th, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But again, we'll get back to that in a second. A game called Hades is coming out there. This is the next game for the people at Supergiant Games. They made Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre, or whatever that game is called.
I always get them confused with Supermassive.
Yeah, but I never played Bastion.
Oh, they're doing another game. It's like, no, they're not.
I've played Pyre. I never played Bastion or Transistor, but I thought Pyre was great. I thought it was a really good video game.
Yeah, I've not played any of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all relatively the same. But, I watched the trailer. I was kind of intrigued by it. Yeah, I thought it looked quite different. It's called Hades. It's obviously, everyone knows what that word means. Scavengers got announced, which is coming from, where have I written this down? There we are, Midwinter Entertainment. Not due till 2019. There's going to be some kind of beta test. So there'll be a beta test in 2019. I don't know what this is. It's an announcement trailer, right? So you've got person with gun, spaceships. It looked a bit like Mass Effect. It looked a bit like, Lost Planet, just because they were on a planet featured full of snow. I don't know anything else. But yeah, it looks fine. Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled, which is a Crash Team Racing remaster. Unsurprising, Activision is making that, giving that money they made from Crash Bandicoot. I never liked Crash Bandicoot Racing, simply because I was a Mario Kart guy. So I can't really comment on it. People seem excited, and that's good. I like it when people are excited.
I liked it when I was young, but it's hard to pull that back now because I'm just like, I remember liking it when I was too young to form a lot of critical opinions on things.
Yeah, and I do think it comes down to the fact. I honestly believe if you played this first, you probably prefer it to Mario Kart. And this is the most biased and probably ridiculous thing I'll ever say. But I think Mario Kart is so good that if you have played Mario Kart, I don't think there is a karting game that... I mean this objectively as well, which makes me an asshole. You're all free to tweet me saying I'm an asshole. I don't see how anything can be better. It's perfect. That's why...
it is like the quintessential one, because everyone copied it. That's the point. Like, everyone did their kart race, so of course Mario Kart did it so well. But, that's the essential one, and did the items amazingly well. It did everything amazingly well. And, yeah, I think the only reason is if you like Crash when you were younger and preferred that when you were younger, I don't think you'd put the two side by side. It's unfair to say that because you don't know anything about it. But if you were to put it side by side with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and just tell someone who didn't know anything about games to decide which is the best one, you would be surprised to hear them say Crash, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, and look, if you do like it, of course that's cool. I'm not saying that, but I think there's a reason we didn't see many other kart games, because most people looked at it and went, well, we can't beat that. So what's even the point? Just my opinion. The Outer Worlds is the brand new game from Obsidian that we talked about last week.
So excited.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Fallout meets Borderlands, really.
It looks very Borderlands, but I don't want it to be just... I want it just to be a little bit toned down, because Borderlands borders on the cringe a little bit.
It does.
So just tone it down just a little bit, and then make it a bit more Fallout-y, Vegas-y, and it sounds good. It sounds very good.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there. Like, don't be too influenced by Borderlands, because it's not like Obsidian are a budget developer or anything. They're great. So they should stick to what they're good at, and this could be one of the surprises of next year. Yeah. Well, not even a surprise. I just didn't know that Obsidian were working on anything new. So... yes, I would put that as certainly an intriguing game. Hello Games introduced The Last Campfire. Obviously, Hello Games are the people behind No Man's Sky. This is a very, very different... I mean, if nothing else, the scope of it is far more pulled back. But that's why I kind of like it. It looks a bit like a cutesy modern world, or modern day, I should say, maybe platformer. You know, one of those indie games where it's called The Last Campfire. But it's probably going to be one of those things where it has sad piano and, you know, it makes you try and fall in love with the backpack or something like that. But it does look good. And it does look very, you know, I hate the word, but cute and nice to look at. And this is the kind of thing that I like Hello Games to do. No Man's Sky wasn't for me. The Last Campfire looks like something much more that I'd be intrigued to play.
Yeah, I mean... If anyone needed to learn the lesson about dialing back the ambition, I think that's the studio to do that.
Indeed. And I respect the ambition. I really do. I respect it massively. But given everything that's happened, I think it's nice to now do both. If you want to go ambitious next time, great. But as soon as I saw this, like, okay, I'm interested. Ashen obviously got, I think only not announced, but released. But again, we're going to get back to that too, because Sam's been playing it. The Dreadwolf Rises pretty much looks like the fourth Dragon Age game. Sam got it exactly right last week when he said that you can just tease it with a logo or some artwork, which is what they did. Much similar to Oblivion 5 or 6, whatever the hell the last one was.
Elder Scrolls 6,
whatever the hell it was called, I don't know. But there's a tease that E3 or whenever it was, same kind of thing here, not a lot to say, but you know, cool. Dragon Age lost me after game 1, but hopefully they can get back on track. The Pathless from creators Abzu, don't know much about it. A lot of people compared it to Mirror's Edge. I mean, it does look a little bit like Mirror's Edge, I suppose. She has a bird. It's like Mirror's Edge, but you've got a bird companion, and it looks far more indie game. That's cool.
That's a great pitch.
They're sold. Mortal Kombat 11 comes out on April the 23rd, I think it said, PS4, Xbox, PC. There is a reveal event in January, so a few weeks away. Great trailer, terrible choice of music. I think it was 21 Savage over the top of it, and I like 21 Savage, but it did not work with the trailer at all. Look, it's just more Mortal Kombat 11. I love Mortal Kombat. I'm all for it. You know, gets me excited.
I've literally never played one of those games.
Not even back in the day when they were like all the rage.
No, I mean they were all the rage before I was born, and then they were just sort of like, I can't remember anyone ever talking about it besides like the really old ones, like almost FMV ones, not FMV, but you know what I mean. And then like there was a big old gap, and then because Mortal Kombat before X, there wasn't a good one for ages, was there? And then
they were rubbish.
Action.
Now they've kind of found a format for 2000 or the 2000s, whatever, 2016 plus. They're really good. I really like them. They're very standard, very what you'd expect, but I am a big fan. Psychonauts 2 got a trailer. It's just more Psychonauts. I didn't like the first Psychonauts, so again, I'm not really the person to talk about it.
Yeah, not played it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Rage 2 got a release date, which is May 14th, 2019. Looks a lot of fun. Looks like they've taken a lot of, inspiration from Doom, which makes sense given who's making it. It looks great. It looks like over the top. No, Doom was over the top. It looks like more colourful Doom, I'd say. It's fun.
Rage was a bit sort of vanilla for people's tastes, I think. So they just sort of dialed it up a bit, and they've got two great studios working on it. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and the last kind of weird announcement was that the Joker from Persona 5 is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Just in case you wondered, can Super Smash Bros. Actually get every single character ever made into their video game? Potentially so. That's the idea anyway. So yeah, that was the Game Awards. I probably missed something, I always do, but that is certainly the definitive lift from everything I looked around. You can go watch some of the trailers. I think it was a decent amount of games. it's pretty exciting all around. You know, not going to talk about the awards, not trying to be a dick, just doesn't mean that much to me. Awards are awards. You know, who cares? Like, I just don't care. But yeah, you know, and there was some Fortnite stuff in there as well. But Fortnite evolves so quickly that it's already old hat. So I don't really think we need to make reference to that too. Right, let's turn the clock back. Let's talk about Far Cry New Dawn. Yep. Sam, I'm guessing you played it at some point over the last few weeks.
No.
Right. Okay.
I have seen it.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, talk to me about it. I have many questions, some of which I deliberately didn't look for because actually I'd rather just talk to Sam about this. For starters, how, in your mind, I mean, you've seen it. It's all well and good what gets pitched, but in your mind, how? I mean, it's not a full-on sequel, surely. It's more of an offshoot of Far Cry 5. But how do you see it, basically? Like, when you get to that, you know, should people be as excited if it was a sequel? Does it have a matter as content as a sequel? Where does it kind of lay for you?
It seems, from all the marketing that I've seen, it seems as if it's a sequel. It's like, it's Far Cry 5.5, but the reason it's out, so that's the best way to describe it, I think, because it's the same sort of setting. It's the same sort of... I'm not technically sure if it's the same exact mech, but you'd assume that they'd cut the corners and, you know, save themselves a lot of work by using the same map and changing it, because it's this is spoilers for anyone who's played Far Cry 5. I haven't finished it, but I know this is the ending of Far Cry 5. At the end of Far Cry 5, the place was nuked, and then this is now post-apocalyptic Hope County. So yeah, I can only assume that they've used a lot of the groundwork to create this sequel, but it does seem like it's a sequel. I haven't heard anything to say it's an expansion or anything. Or not an expansion, you know, an expansion scope size release or something.
Does it look good?
Kind of like the Lost Legacy, you know?
Yeah. All right, is it a bit like the Grand Theft Auto 4 spin-offs, like Lost and the Damned and everything like that?
Potentially. I don't know how long they were in scope. I know that they were quite sizable. There was only a few of them. But yeah, potentially. I think 5.5 is probably the best way, from what I've seen, to describe.
Is it good? Nice and simple. Let's not muck around here. Like, you played Far Cry 5. You've seen this.
Well, I haven't played it, but it seems to be the essential core gameplay pillars, but with a bit more wackiness, because it's always been grounded in reality, not plausibility, but, you know, reality. You know, just actual places with actual people, but now they've just like, okay, let's crank that up, and instead of making an expansion like Blood Dragon, let's make a full like game in this post-apocalyptic world. It's very colourful. It's a bit ragey. It's a bit Fallouty. You can't help with those influences, though. As soon as you put a drop of neon pink paint on anything post-apocalyptic, everyone will be like, Rage 2. So yeah, but yeah, it looks like classic Far Cry. There's these things called expeditions. So you go out and you go to these different places. They're very small maps. Compared to the main map. So you're currently in Hope County, Montana. So you might go to what's called the Swamps, which is another area. And then you might go to the other missions and stuff, which is like co-op angled missions. So there's various areas you can go to, and there's obviously post-apocalyptic weapons. Like there's a buzzsaw launcher thing, you know, that classic thing. And yeah, you post-apocalyptic Far Cry. It sounds like a recipe for success, because Far Cry's got a good basis, and you just add more craziness onto it. Like, cool, sweet.
I'm looking at the trailer now. I mean, I've watched it once before, but I just wanted to click through it before I asked in case I got it wrong. It doesn't look very post-apocalyptic. Like, I mean, maybe I'm just thinking too much of Fallout. I know there's a lot of devastation and stuff, but it's still very green. Like, why doesn't it look more fucked up?
Because when there was the nuclear blast, there was like 17 years passed, and then once that, because the nuclear dust blocked out the sun or something, and then there led a super bloom, and then all the grass returned, all the plants returned like really luscious and verdant and stuff, because it was like a new rebirth of all the grass and all the plants and stuff, because the seeds all fell down from the nuclear whatever. You know, you get the sort of gist that I'm going for. There's some sort of story reason.
All right, so it's basically
so it's called the super bloom. So it's like all like the church has been overtaken by grass and vines and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Cool. And it's basically, so 17 years has passed since the bomb actually went off. So this is the world.
Like 17,
but that makes sense. I mean, actually, I do quite like it. Now I've said that, because it does make it unique compared to most of the post-apocalyptic games that you see. You know, it's green, it's nice, it's fluffy, it's fairy, it's beautiful. You know, it ticks all the boxes. But I hate this question, and it makes me an idiot because it's been made for Far Cry fans. But I'll ask it anyway, because people like to ask this thing. This is clearly a game to just carry on that legacy as opposed to try and win in new people, correct?
Yeah, I'd say so, because I don't think the post-apocalyptic theme is going to win over any people that weren't already on board. So
yeah, okay. Well, look, I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know what's happening with Assassin's Creed next year. I don't know how Assassin's Creed sold this year. I'm sure it was fine, but Ubisoft.
I think Ubisoft are skipping next year for Assassin's Creed.
Well, I don't know whether Far Cry is going to become their new sort of yearly franchise. I mean, I don't see why they can't do it. I know it's ambitious, but you could say that Assassin's Creed is ambitious. So I don't know whether this is kind of the start of that. I think we can release sort of mini ones, and then maybe in 2020 release Far Cry 6, for example. Because I know that Far Cry 5 sold very well, and I imagine if this sells well too, it goes to show there is certainly a thirst for more content. It's not like people have been worn out by it. And of course, this is sort of $10-15 cheaper than what you'd expect to pay for a full game, and that's always, I know prices for video games in 2018 are high anyway, but still, it's all relative, and if something looks lower than you're used to, that makes you feel all nice and fluffy inside.
Yeah, and it's coming out in February, which is great, so you don't have any of that.
Well, I mean,
build-up thing.
That's why I love the Mortal Kombat thing. It's out 4 or 5 months from when it was announced. Obviously, this Ashen, we're going to talk about in a minute, just got thrown out there from nowhere. There was something else that I saw. Again, I've taken my list down now, but something else got... where is it? Hang on, screw it, I'm going to find it now. I think it was Marvel Ultimate Alliance, right? I think that obviously got announced and is coming out in... I can't remember. It's not that. Maybe it's not that. But something else got announced and is coming out soon. And I really do think, everything changes, everything moves. People expect different things as the world changes. And I do think we got to the point now where 6 months is all you need to announce a game. Like that BioWare announcement for the Dread Wolf Rises. It's not going to be 2020 at the earliest, if not, beyond that. And by that point, I don't know how I feel. I'd probably be something like Psychonauts 2, right? Psychonauts 2 sounds like it's been around for ages because I remember it being announced so long ago. Hey, man, let's jump around on the running order here. Beyond Good and Evil 2 has new gameplay that you can go watch now. And it looks great. It looks really interesting if you like the style they're going for. But once again, that has been in such turmoil that now I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about Beyond Good and Evil 2. At least I don't care from a marketing point of view because I just want the game. That's the point that I've got to now. So
that's been around for ages, that game. I can't remember when it was announced. It must have been years ago now.
Oh, man, but there's been 2 different versions. I remember the first one that got sent out is nothing like the game we've got now. So, and look, it's kind of cool from a developmental point of view, being able to sort of, pull down the curtain and see how much it changes. But at the same time, I much rather get games announced and out in 6 months so it feels exciting and that we can keep on going. But, I doubt it's going to happen with everything. But you're right, with Far Cry, they're doing it. It looks interesting. More Far Cry's no bad thing. Great way to start the year, too. We'll smash into January. Resident Evil 2 remake will come out. And then Far Cry. It's a good couple of months. And obviously, I'm not even touching on whatever else we've got coming out because I don't know. Let's transition to Ashen as well. Also had a big sort of Game Awards thing that you've played, too. I don't know much about Ashen. So if you give me the 411 and then tell me, kind of what the deal is, we can take it from there.
It's a Souls-like with less detail.
And that's very much. Thank you. But it's meant to have less detail, right? It's meant to be stripped back. It's meant to be stripped back.
Looks like it's sort of made out of clay.
Yeah.
A little bit. So nobody has faces for some reason, but they do have facial hair. So,
right.
And then it's a brazen, like, it's not just like a stamina based action RPG. It has taken a lot of, like, there's flasks that you refill. The whole world is like ash, like Dark Souls 3. There's a whole load of brazen elements. But like we said before, if something's very popular, that's cool if you take its elements. That's cool. That's fine. Dark Souls was so successful because all those elements worked. And I'm happy to see them again. I'm absolutely fine seeing them again. And it is very good. You get an AI teammate at all times. Except when it's just bizarre because sometimes he's there and sometimes he just fucks off for some inexplicable reason, and I just have no idea. I've got no explanation as to where he goes, but sometimes like, oh, sorry, I'm back again, just joining the fight. But that's good though because he's it's all about managing space because anyone you can use to divert attention or put between you and the enemy is great. So having an AI teammate makes it a lot more accessible for newcomers. And the thing is, like, there's one frustrating element about it, which is that a lot of times there's multiple enemies around you. And, like, the joy with Dark Souls for me is facing one enemy and making sure you can outwit them. But when I'm outnumbered, that's not really difficulty in my eyes. It's sort of a bit cheap. Because I can't deal with 4 dudes. I just can't. I haven't got the body to deal with 4 guys circling around me at once. But when you have one tough enemy who you have to outwit, that's when I think it's most satisfying. Because it's just that's all you have to deal with. You versus the other one person. But other than that, no, it's a really good game. Really good art style. Simple but effective. And yeah, I haven't played too much of it, but I'd say if you like Dark Souls or Souls likes or whatever they're called, then yeah, this is good, and it's on Xbox Game Pass. So if you got that, then just download it for free.
Do you think that if somebody was super into Dark Souls and kind of went to play this because they don't know when Bloodborne 5 or Dark Souls 92, whatever is going to come out, that it will satisfy that itch? Or is it too kind of stripped back, or does it go off in too many different directions that, if you just predominantly a Souls play, you kind of like games, but for some reason you really like Dark Souls, is it enough to scratch that itch until, whatever happens next?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it wouldn't be like, another game that fulfills that the dream for me, but it would be enough to tide you over, I think, because it has got the same stamina management and the same sort of vague, wishy-washy story going on, and the same sort of dead, lifeless world. So yeah, it's got the same sort of notes that it hits. Very different art style, but apart from that, yeah, it's the same sort of difficulty as well. Yeah, definitely difficulty. It's reminded me how much I don't want to keep persisting with these Souls-like games anymore. I tried it, and I think I'm just going to put it down because it's very good, but I just don't want, like I said before, just easy games, please. I just don't want to put myself through it again.
No, that's the thing for me. Like, I actually, for what it is, I actually think it sounds quite good. But those kind of games are completely lost on me. Like, I never want to play another game like that again as long as I live. It's just not my thing, which I think is fine. I don't think we need to get too uppity about it. And like, I agree with you as well that I like the fact. Well, actually, I'm in two worlds. I like the fact that this has been done because, yes, when people don't jump on trends and try and make their own version of it, I think we do miss out on something that could potentially be awesome in video games and may actually create something we weren't expecting. With that said, from my point of view, and I don't really count, even I'll admit my opinion is kind of for naught because I'm not on the bandwagon, it does feel like said bandwagon has kind of slowed down a little bit. Like, the Souls boom has come and gone. We've kind of shifted onto Battle Royale games now, and that could come back. That could change. I'm sure, whatever, comes out from that field next that's big will still have an impact. It's like first-person shooter, right? It's not just going to die. But maybe the time has passed for everyone to just say, hey, let's do this. But with that said, like you've said, this actually, maybe it does tick a little bit of its own niche because it's different and it's kind of stripped back a little bit because people don't even have faces.
Yeah, and if you just have to think about whether you're changing something just so you seem like you're not doing the same thing, or whether you're changing it to make it better. Because like Dark Souls 2 did this thing where, if you're undead, which is like you die and then you need to restore humanity or whatever.
Yeah.
When you are undead, you had half health, and there was no need to change that system. And that's what Dark Souls 2. That was one of the few things that annoyed me about that. And it's just like if it all works in Dark Souls, that's fine. Just take that over. Because there's a reason why that worked fine. There's a reason that was great. And the same with Battle Royale. Like, use that. You don't have to tweak it. It works. It works. Just do your own spin on it rather than trying to just change things just to seem like you're not. Because we all know you're taken from Dark Souls, right? Like, it's no secret. So you might as well take everything you need and then tweak whatever you don't need.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. There's no shame in it. There's some people you'll see threads and stuff saying, "Oh, I can't believe that." There's no way, man. Be inspired. Be inspired. Take it on yourself and see how you can make it fit into your interpretation of what that genre is. Active Reload is the one we always go back to. Never really got picked up by anybody, and it should have been. I think there could have been far more spins on that than we saw. So I'm all right with it. And look, I've seen nothing but love. A load of people, I did a quick sort of, scooting around the internet to see what people are thinking about it. People seem to love it. They love the art style, love the idea of it, love the execution. I think on Metacritic, because I always go there because it's a good way to get quick resources. But, I think it was something like, only a couple of people had reviewed it, but one was a 9, and, Eurogamer, obviously don't give numbers, but they said, really, really well thought out and really, really great atmosphere. And the fact that it just dropped from nowhere and found some success, I think is great. So, yeah, that's out now. You can go and play it. Kind of turning it. Look, we're at the end of the year anyway, and I think probably next week, actually, we'll talk about our games of the year. But, Sam, for some reason, you thought December was the time you would sit down with God of War. So we are going to touch upon that a bit. I mean, we had a great conversation about the kid and how much we both agreed we could have got rid of that piece of crap. But how far into it are you, and what's your general consensus, I guess, of the game at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I've just got past the Witch, so not very far at all.
Okay, but you've got, I've
got a sense of it. I've played
exactly,
4 or 5 hours, something like that. It is very, very good. The one continuous shot thing is very good. How the camera never sort of cuts. I'm sure there are smokes and mirrors where it cuts at some points, but yeah, that's really good. The kid is just the only baffling thing for me, and it's just more the voice actor and the writing, because it's like Kratos has this. It's an epic tale set in Norse mythology. It's meant to have this epic feel, right? And he comes along as this sort of squeaky American wisecracker, and it's a very strange choice. I've been told that it changes and things do change, and that the whole picture of Atreus will get fulfilled by the end. And so I'm not being like, this is awful and this shouldn't be in the game, because until I finish the game it's sort of hard, because it's all about his relationship with Kratos.
Yeah, of course, yeah, which does develop over the game.
Yeah, but he's just like, whoa, sometimes, or like just doing little wisecracks, and it just seems like, those sort of rom-coms where this guy who doesn't know how to handle kids gets a kid. It feels like that at times, because they just can't. They just so at odds with each other, but not in a way that it's just strange. You know what I mean? I'm not really articulating myself, but I'm just sort of baffled at why they made him so sort of corny at times. Maybe it's the voice acting, maybe it's the writing, but yeah.
No, I agree with you. I mean, the disconnect that I always found is that while it is very well acted, I just wouldn't accept Kratos as a loving dad, given everything that I've known about him since day one. It's difficult for me to make that jump, and the story does get better and it does evolve, but I was the same as you. The kid never warmed up. I never warmed to him. He never grew on me. I never, because the whole point, I'm sure you can figure out already, is to get you to do that, right? It's to get you to be emotional towards this child. And I never felt that way. In fact, most of the times I was like, maybe Kratos would just kill this child before it's said and done, and that would be really funny. But, with that said, it is an important part of the story, but I don't think it overshadows how the polish, the production, the gameplay, the story, the narrative.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to lead with like a negative, because the whole of the game is superb, because the combat is super heavy as well, which is good. Not heavy as in clunky, heavy as in like whenever you hit someone with the axe, just like, just love it. Just like you actually, like when you throw it and then connect with someone properly, it's like, that is sick. Yeah. It's the total power fantasy of being Kratos again, but with a bit more. Because I remember I played the first God of War. It was very sort of, you jump loads and it's very sort of fast, quick, frantic. But it's a bit more deliberate now, and you have to sort of measure your skills and make sure you upgrade at the right times and stuff. Yeah, it's a really good combat system, really satisfying combat system.
Yeah, I think the combat is the best thing about it, because it goes back to almost something that we don't really get nowadays, almost like a hack and slash, but with depth and obviously different weapons and things like that. And again, really, what you're doing in the first 5 minutes isn't too dissimilar to what you're doing in the last 5 minutes, but it just evolves and adds stuff to it, satisfyingly enough, so you're always getting more and more of a kick out of it. So
there's a lot of collectibles and chests and stuff to find as well, which I don't usually do, but just because it's just so like satisfying, not too easy but not too hard as well, which is really good.
Well, you stick it on easy as well, which is what I did. No shame in it.
Story mode.
Exactly, yeah. It's just so much fun. So much fun to play. So effortless. Kratos is funny, obviously. Cracks you up with some of the stuff he says. Takes forever to be worn down, as he should. I mean, probably one of the best games of the year for me. I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but so, I mean, the benefit you have as well, obviously, is you're not playing it in the hype. No one's talking about it now, but the fact that you're still enjoying it as well, I think kind of sums up that it's a good game. Simple as that. It's a good video game. No two ways about it.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And you don't have, because I didn't play the originals, you don't have to, which is nice.
Sorry, say again?
You don't have to play the originals, which is nice.
No, absolutely. Yeah. There's hints at it, and you'll get more of that as you go. But yeah, it's never anything that's either not explained or you can't figure out for yourself. Like, it's very, very well done. Very, very well balanced. Looks great. Plays great. There's some real good surprises for God of War fans. Like, it serves those as well, without, like you say, making new people feel that they lost their way. It's great. It's a great video game. I'm glad you've got around to it, Sam. Makes me happy.
Yeah, better late than never, right? So.
Well, I think the problem with video game culture in general is that people assume that if you don't play it within the first 2 months that you've missed out. But that's absolute nonsense. Like, the fact that you can get to it at some point that's the dream, right? That's the dream.
Yeah, especially with single player games.
Exactly. Like, the whole point is there to enjoy a story. I don't. Yeah, some people get funny about that stuff, but look, unless you really care about the hype train, and some people do, fair enough. I don't. I couldn't care less, to be honest. But you enjoyed it. That's that. So yeah, God of War. We'll talk about them more probably next week. I think when we go through all our games. I want to talk about. We're also going back in time. I think this may have even come out before God of War. I can't remember. Actually, maybe it came out in June. But Overcooked 2. as a game I went back to this week. I think I've talked about it on this podcast before, but really, I think I probably said the exact same thing, but I want to shout it out again. Just a wonderful reminder that, even though the internet is this all-empowering thing that takes us all over, same-seat multiplayer is not dead. And you've got games like Overcooked 2 that prove how good and how satisfying it can be.
It's an amazing game. I've only played a little bit of it. I've played loads of Overcooked 1, and it's essentially the same thing. They haven't thrown out the core basics that made it excellent. They just added to it. Great.
Exactly. Just more ideas, more levels, sort of more silly things that you can do. But I've only played it with 2. I'm sure if you did that before, it'd be even better. But even if you get 2 people, you sit down and... the whole thing you're doing, obviously, as I'm sure people can figure out, is you're just trying to get food out and serve it into your mini restaurant. But obviously, things get set on fire, and there's time management, and you have
things move around and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And there's platform. It is a bit of platforming, and there's co-op elements, and it just comes together so well. And you are going to get frustrated, but not in like a stressful way. Just to know, I'm having a fun time way, and it's enjoyable for some reason to shout at your mate that's sat on the couch because, they're not pulling their weight. There's few things better than doing quite well and focusing on your own stuff because, I don't know, you've decided you're going to do the boiling and the frying and someone else is going to do whatever. And you look over at their side of the kitchen, it's just all on fire. And you're like, what have you done?
How you could just lord it over them like, I did my bit.
Exactly.
I did my bit. What's going on, lads?
Exactly. And then, you have to kind of... give out new tasks next time you give the level a go. But it's just awesome. It's just so much fun. You don't have to play it for more than 10 minutes, and if you want, but you'll get something out of it within that time period too. Just 2 thumbs up all around. It's just so much fun, and it will be one of those games that's still going to be fun in 10 years. Like, that premise doesn't age. And I just think it's nice that, again, even with all this technology and steps forward we make, these little trinkets of games don't go anywhere. Makes me pleased. Makes me happy.
Are you playing on Switch as well?
I am playing on Switch. It makes it even easier because you can just give what the hell are the things called that come off the side of the Switch? I can't remember. Joy-Cons, yeah. You just take one Joy-Con, give that to somebody else. Don't need to buy another controller. They work fine. It's not like you feel like you're fighting them at all. They've been clearly designed for that purpose. It feels
like this game was made for Switch as well.
Absolutely. That's 100% right. Given that the ease of use and the simplicity of it actually, allows it to become greater than the sum of its parts. And again, if you like multiplayer stuff, or with Christmas coming up, I'm not trying to shit it out here, but if you are looking for a game that you want to keep your gaming going and you want to play with family, get Overcooked 2, get a Switch. They'll love it, not necessarily for as much as somebody that's well into games will. But again, the simplicity, the ease of use, the fact you just whip a Joy-Con off and give it to someone... It's fantastic. It really is one of my favourite games of this year, I realise. Because I think sometimes we forget that games are meant to be entertaining. It doesn't really matter how you get there, as long as you do. And Overcooked 2 is entertaining. As soon as you understand the fundamentals, Overcooked 2 is only entertaining. That's the only thing it knows how to do.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. Going from the new to the very old as well, Doom was 25. Doom just passed its 25th birthday. Seems worth mentioning again, because it is mad, but also because without Doom, my word, would we be living in a different gaming world in 2018. It's easy to forget sort of the influence that had on everything. I mean, really one of the first-person shooters that created the boom that continues to roll forward today. And if nothing else, don't forget, not only a brilliant game back then, but still a game you can sit down with now. I mean, there's so many versions of it that continually get released because people like playing Doom.
Yeah, I only booted up the original Doom when I got my first gaming PC. I was like, original Doom? I didn't try any really high performance games out. I was like, original Doom, let's get that going. And yeah, it still holds up. Actually, maybe holds up, not the right word, but it's still playable and very enjoyable. And the modern Doom, the 2016 one, is just as good as well.
Absolutely. And the best thing about that is kind of the stuff we were still saying. It takes those elements that you love about Doom and obviously makes it work for a modern day audience, even though really that game still works. And, it's everything. The music is great, very very heavily based on Metallica and Megadeth riffs for people that are interested. But the music is great, the way it plays is great, the enemies are great, the level design is great. Most people, this is the best thing about it, most people have played Doom but not actually finished Doom. Everyone knows the first level, but nobody knows anything, anything else outside of that. Which is fine, though. The fact that most people have played it, obviously Wolfenstein deserves a special mention as well, but obviously we'll focus on Doom because it's his birthday. But yeah, just just a game that you can always look back on and be like, that was. I'm just happy that it exists. I really, really am. It's just I enjoyed it when I was a kid. I can still enjoy it today. And here we are 25 years on, and somehow the franchise continues to keep on giving, given that we're getting Doom Immortal in 2019.
Yeah, and it shows you how much the trends have changed, because like back then it was just like, oh, it wasn't trying to be grounded at all. It was just like you're going to hell and you're shooting demons, and that's just all the motivation you need. Whereas now the trend is like you need a very deep plot to underpin everything. Even if it's an FPS, you've still got a deep plot to underpin everything. You've still got long cutscenes and things, and it's just a modern taste. But then Doom 2016 came along and be like, hold on, let's take it back to basics and just put us modern shooting, but without any of the faff and bells and whistles. And that was just such a breath of fresh air, having that sort of old, just shoot things until they die, and there's loads of blood on screen, and just crazy. It's so good.
Such a good point about the storytelling as well, because that is my favourite thing about New Doom, is when at one point he's being told the story and just pushes him out the screen. He literally cuts him off, and it made me laugh. And it's one of those amazing things, right? They could have tried to tell an amazing story, but that wouldn't have made me feel as warm and fuzzy towards it as that one bit, because it made me laugh, and because I loved how much personality it had without telling a story, it made me like it more. And that kind of ties into the whole make sure you do, make your games for you as well. If you have this idea and you know that, you can pull it off, you absolutely should. Because that was one of the big reasons that I love Doom so much, was for that one moment. Hence why I talk about it all the time. I love it. So yeah,
I love New Doom too. I'm looking forward to Immortal,
I think it's called, right? I can't remember. Maybe it is Eternal. I don't know. Either way, I agree. I think it's going to be awesome. I love Doom. I know there's been some down times. Doom 3, not the greatest game in the world, but who cares? We're talking about the original, which is now a quarter of a century old. What a world! What a world we live in. What will be next? Right, let's talk about something that I know divided the internet. We didn't really divide it. People seem mad about it. And Sam, I'm hoping you have some insight into it, because I don't. The teaser trailer, or the teaser poster, I should say, for the Sonic movie was released.
Oh, yes.
Now, I've been looking at it. I've been looking at it as we've been doing this podcast as well, just in case I've missed something. It's just Sonic, and yet everybody's mad. I think because they think he looks muscly. I can't figure out. You tell me where you are with it, and then we can go from there, because I'm confused. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right.
It's just something very odd about seeing real Sonic. I mean, we haven't seen him. We've only seen the outline, but even then, like, the legs are weird. Like, that's what doesn't sit right with me, just the legs.
He does have big calves.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I don't want to see the muscles in Sonic's legs. Like, if you look at the cartoons and everything, he has really skinny legs, but now he's all like actual muscles, and it's odd. It's bizarre. It's like, those like pictures on the internet where people like recreate like Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin to look like real, and then it looks awful because people don't have that big eyes and stuff.
They are horrible.
I'm just worried to see his eyes, because if you ever notice, Sonic only has doesn't have a divide between two eyes.
That's true.
He only has the big-eyed shape and then two pupils, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it. And you get to see actual big eyeballs, and I don't know. I feel like real Sonic is a very dangerous territory.
So you need to be on the internet more, Sam, because you put that far better than everything else I saw. All I saw was like fucking blah blah. I was like, I don't know what's the problem. Now I agree with you. Obviously, it needs to look good. Because for all those reasons you just say, if you can't buy into the character looking like you expect, you're not going to be able to buy into the movie. But with that said, it is just a silhouette. Do you know what I mean? We don't have anything else. I think the way you put it was perfectly perfectly fair and well put. But a lot of other people I've seen just going crazy. I'm like, let's just wait and see what's going to happen. You don't know. Maybe it is the worst thing ever made. I mean, it likely is going to be the worst thing ever made. I don't think
you can't imagine it being good though. There's no evidence to suggest it would be any good. Like, it's just, that's the worrying thing. So I think it's only up from here.
Well, I think it's bizarre we're doing this in 2019 to begin with. What the hell?
It does scream like 90s. Like, this is a film that should have been made in the 90s.
Yeah, like what happened over the last 12 months or however long this film's been in development for someone's going, 2019 is the year to release Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Now, look, I think we talked about this before. I think Jim Carrey being cast as Dr. Robotnik gives me hope in this movie. Because I actually think that he will do great. I think Jim Carrey is a great actor. I really, really do. And I haven't seen him in a film for a while, so maybe this is his coming back party. I don't know. Again, totally agree that Sonic has to look like you'd expect him to because you're going to feel off. But I'm happy for now to see, even though I don't like Sonic. I don't like the Sonic games, so maybe that's why I'm able to approach it with a bit more of a less scared head. But I'm perfectly happy to wait and see. I would guess a teaser trailer is going to be out in the next couple of months. It seems strange to release a poster and not follow that up. I think it may be, I understand who they're trying to appeal to with this, but having from the producer of The Fast and Furious at the top of the poster, the worst idea you could have done, because all that did was send people into a frenzy about... But look, if it does as well as The Fast and the Furious, we're getting a lot of Sonic movies. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I just couldn't believe some of the reaction was a bit crazy for me.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
The Sonic fan base are nuts. So, yeah, I don't know what to think of this film at all from any angle.
It's interesting. I like the fact it exists because I think it makes life a bit more fun. So we will see what's going to happen. But yeah, it's out there now. Just go to Paramount's Twitter or just type in Sonic the Hedgehog movie. You'll see it. He does have big calves. There's no two ways about that. I mean, you can't really make anything else out other than his sort of red shoes. But he does have big calves, or at least big calves for a hedgehog.
Does Sonic wear clothes?
I got a quote about this, and where the hell was it? Hang on, I'll get it up. The producer or the director or somebody came out and actually made reference to this. There we go. I'll read you what he said. So it is Tim Miller, who is a producer, and he said, "It would be weird, and it would feel like he was running around nude if he was some sort of otter-like thing. It was always for us fur, and we never considered anything different. It's part of what integrates him into the real world and makes him a real creature." So I imagine that is him saying that he won't wear clothes other than his shoes. He also went on to say, "I don't think Sega was entirely happy with the eye decision, but these sorts of things it's going to look weird if we don't do this." So who knows what that means? We'll find out.
Also, if you look at his proportions as a cartoon, it's cartoonish proportions, right? But literally, if you've got the picture on your screen right now, put your thumb over the head, and that looks like a hairy dude, like just a normal hairy dude. And then you take off, and it's this massive Sonic the Hedgehog head on it. So he's just a normal hairy dude with a massive Sonic the Hedgehog head. And I just don't know. I don't.
We're going to find out, Sam. We're about to enter the new year, and there ain't no going back.
I wasn't interested, but now I am.
I'm interested. It comes out on Boxing Day next year. I don't hate Sonic. Sonic's not my thing. I will go and watch that movie. I have to. I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious. So we will find out. Other movings and shakings in the video game industry. Glenn Schofield has left Sledgehammer and Activision. Now, that name may not mean many to some people. It means something to me, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it. Just because Glenn Schofield was basically responsible for Dead Space at EA. That's where I met him. I was one of the first people lucky enough. Basically, when EA, story time with Simon, when EA was first trying to sell Dead Space, it was not the Dead Space we know now. Nobody wanted to talk about it. It was a survival horror game, a scary game, we'll call it, at a time when people weren't pushing that kind of a thing, and they were struggling to get coverage. It's actually what happened. And EA rang me up. I was the editor of X360 magazine at the time. I said, "Look, can you come down to our Guildford HQ?" Actually, it was their Chertsey one, which doesn't exist anymore. We're going to have Glenn Schofield there, and he'll walk you through the game. I was in a tiny room, just me and Glenn Schofield, and he played Dead Space for me. Let me play it a little bit as well. That would never happen today. I mean, IGN would get it, or a GameSpot potentially, but in those kind of days, getting those opportunities were rare, and that's how desperate they were for coverage. And I remember the conversation I had with him and everything he showed me and everything he walked me through, and obviously Dead Space itself was a great game. That's when I kind of realized that Glenn Schofield was really good at his job. So when he did leave Dead Space behind, which he did at a very smart time, because that's before Dead Space 3 came out, and we all know the controversy there, he went on to form Sledgehammer Games, which was one of the studios Activision employed to make the third year on the spin Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
Now, he made World War II. I don't think they made another one before that, did they? I say that, and now I'm like, I actually don't know.
I thought they made Modern Warfare 3, Advanced Warfare.
I think you're right now you've said that. Hang on, let me get them where they must have a Wikipedia page, you'd have to imagine. Although maybe they don't, because that could be within the Activision one. I think you're right. Anyway, I think you're right. There we go, I've just found it. So yeah, they did indeed make Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which obviously they were brought in to help with Infinity War because they were having struggles. So really, Advanced Warfare to a certain extent was theirs, but I think they were probably heavily... Well, probably with WW2 as well. My point being is I felt when I played WW2, that felt more like their influence than Advanced Warfare did. That kind of felt like their franchise, whereas Advanced Warfare obviously felt like Infinity Ward's franchise.
Yeah.
And for me, especially, it didn't hurt that it went back to World War II, but I certainly did think it was the best Call of Duty for a while. I like the story, I like the narrative. Again, that's obviously changed this year with Black Ops 4. No one knows where he's going. No one knows where he's left. But I'm genuinely intrigued to see what he does next, because I think he makes a lot of these things tick. I don't think Dead Space would have been what it was without him. I don't think WW2 would have been. I don't know how that studio goes on, without him. I just find it strange that, really, he did join about 10 years ago. Obviously, video games take a long time to make, but I just think it kind of sucks because when he did join Call of Duty, oh man, he's going to bring some really cool elements to it, and it certainly does feel like he never really got the chance to do that. I guess because it's hard, because Call of Duty is Call of Duty, and I'm sure there's a rule book you've got to follow that is thousands of pages long. But yeah, after only 2 games and joining around about in 2010, I think it was, that's that. He's gone, and he's going off to do something else.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. I really don't know. If you go through all the games that he has made, again, Dead Space was really his coming out party. Before then, he was at EA for a long time, and he was working on stuff like, Mad Dash Racing, Walt Disney World Quest Magical Racing Tour, Blood Omen 2 From Russia With Love. He really did put in his time before he got to, I should make the games, or at least have the influence on games that he would have liked. And again, given that Dead Space came out in 2008 or whenever it was, I think it was 2008, and he went on to join Activision in 2009. I think there's more there, is my point. He's a very nice guy, speaks very well about video games, very well first. But yeah, he's left, he's gone on to do something else. I wish him all the best, and I'll be intrigued. I'll be intrigued to see what he's going to do.
Best of luck to him.
Yeah, what that leads to Call of Duty, where that leads Sledgehammer, I don't know. Because Sledgehammer, it's Infinity Wars next year, and then Sledgehammer would be the year after that. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's just too long. You don't really feel like you're having an influence on any of these things. The Call of Duty development cycle is crazy, isn't it? Like, absolutely nuts.
It's cool, though. It's like quite a well-oiled machine. It's a bit
you can't knock it. It's like Activision like Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed. Regardless whether you think about it or not, they've got all these people working on it, and, they make it work. They sell copies of video games.
Yeah.
So there you go. And finally, before we wrap up, I thought this was kind of cool. Like, this is Epic Games now realizing that they own complete control when it comes to Fortnite. And no one really played Infinity Blade when it came out on mobile. Like, it was cool, and it looked good, and I liked the premise, especially the whole sort of, lineage thing of you always being your heir when you died. But they've taken the Infinity Blade sword and they put it into Fortnite. And the other cool thing, I don't know if you've played it yet, Sam, but Season 7 of Fortnite is yet another testament to Epic, who continually change that game without ever breaking whatever it is that the fans love. It is very impressive indeed.
Yeah, I've not played it, but yeah, just the fact that they've made it, they just totally overhauled it, made it snow, put planes in, like, fuck it, just put planes in. It's crazy.
It really is. Like, you think eventually at one point they would do something that, offsets the balance, or screw something up, but they never do. They never do, and it is a sign of the times. It's not going away anywhere anytime soon. I don't know whether you saw the YouTube Rewind video they did this year, all based on Fortnite. It got absolutely pandered by people as well.
It was so funny. Just Will Smith being like, yeah, we need Fortnite. Like, how much were you paid to say that?
It was just... Yeah, it was bad. But still, all based around Fortnite. Basically, Fortnite wins. If 2018 is going to have a video game that sums it up, it's Fortnite, and there's no two ways about it. If anyone says anything else, they're lying. It's just not true at all. Actually, one thing I did want to talk about before we did it, because it cracked me up. Did you see the video game consoles that Soulja Boy is making?
No, but I'm now instantly interested.
Honestly, I don't know what they are, and I tried desperately to try and figure out what games are on these. It just sounds, I don't know, allegedly, I don't know, but it just looks like he's taken a PlayStation Vita, a Nintendo Switch, and a 3DS, basically knocked them off and just put Soulja Boy on the front of them. I really want to know what his console about. His console, let me see if I can find it, because I don't understand it. If somebody could please tweet me at Simon Miller 316 and let me know what games are on it, because it's got 800 games on it, and from what I read, they are just emulated games, and it costs $150. The console costs $200, but nowhere can I find what the list of games are. So one picture I saw on his website, it had a picture of Lara Croft. So I'm like, are you trying to tell me that you're actually selling new emulated games on it? But I don't know. I don't know, because I can't find the list of games. But it is crazy. Everyone, I can't find his website now. It sounds like Soulja Boy Gaming or something like that. Google is not being my friend today. But it is absolutely incredible. Like, genuinely, I don't understand how he's able to do this.
I'd love to have a peek behind the curtain as to how this came about. Just him sitting around one day, like, you know what we should do? Our own games console.
It's true.
Everyone be like, whatever, sure.
I want to buy one. I want to buy one because I think they're going to get pulled. And before they get pulled, I really want to review it. But
Antiques Roadshow in 50 years. This is a Soldier Boy console.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is. It's hilarious. Like it really put a smile on my face. So fair play to the man. But I don't know what's on it. I don't know. I want to know what games are on it. It makes absolutely no sense anyway. So there's that as well. You can go check it out. I can't find the website now to save my life because of course I can't. But they're everywhere. It looks like they're on Amazon. Hang on. Before we wrap this up, now I need to make. There's no way they've got an Amazon.
Order them by the end of this.
No way they've got an Amazon. What do I type in? Soldier Boy console.
3,000 games for. I can see a picture of Pokemon Ruby.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So you can't do that.
So they've got Game Boy Advance, Neo Geo, download support, so you can add more. That's Mario Kart in there. What?
I know, right? I don't understand it. Like, how is that allegedly? How is that legal? I don't know. Oh my gosh, you can actually on Amazon.com, you can buy it. You can buy the handheld game console. It's $60. Oh my gosh.
I've got a picture here. I've got the Soldier Watch website, and it says type for Switch, 3DS, Vita, Neo Geo, etc. What do you mean for? What do you what?
I don't get it. I mean, for the handheld game console, it says supports the Neo Geo, GBA, GBC, GB, GG, NES, Sega, SFC, SMS games format. So it's literally just a device where you can emulate games, which is illegal. So I don't get it. I don't get how this is a thing. But I absolutely love it. It's my favourite thing of the week. I may buy one. If I can find this stupid thing. The weird thing is, on Amazon, they're not listed as his. Like, they're not under his name, which makes me more confused. I don't know, but look, go look it up. It's there. Someone explain it to me. If you can let me know what games are on it, I may get one. Just because it would crack me up. I don't think I can afford it, but I don't care. Right. That's it. That's the week.
Strange world we live in.
Oh, wait. There's a bit of clarification I've just seen, which came out literally right now. This is amazing. Clarified that these are not Soldier Boy's own game consoles. They're being rebranded and resold at a markup. Right. Okay. Well, that kind of changes. Now I don't want one as much as I did. I've just found it. I've just found them. Yeah. So Soldier Game handheld is $99.99. Soldier Game console is $149.99. So I don't know what they are. Someone tell it's just go to the website. It's the most confusing thing you'll ever see in your life. I have no idea what it is. It is hilarious though. Right, that's it. I'm done. Absolutely done. The funniest thing is,
mate, do you want to see this tweet? Sorry to interrupt this tweet from Soldier Boy. I love how some of the gaming media is trying to downplay my dream of getting into the gaming industry. Just wait until the launch of my next console. We will see who has the last laugh.
I hope Soldier Boy has the last laugh. I hope Soldier Boy has the last laugh, because so far it's absolutely hilarious. What a world we live in. Oh, dear. The best thing as well, if you go on his website as well, it says weight 1.2 kilogram game electronics. Don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Any sense? I'm going to buy one. I'm really tempted to buy one.
Just don't let your dreams be dreams. Just look at Soldier Boy.
Exactly. Just what a hero. What an absolute hero. It does sound like he's just ripped things off. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. We'll wrap it up. That was the week in gaming. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Simon316. Sam is out there as well at Sam Bishop, 3 P's and a 1. That's it really, Sam. You got anything else you want to throw out there?
No, just live your life.
Exactly, live your life. Have a good time. This will also be on YouTube at youtube.com/The Middle Report Rules. All supported by patreon.com/Simon316. Anything you can give always rocks. And yeah, I think we'll be able to squeeze one more in before the end of the year. We'll talk about our favourite games. So make sure you join us next week. So Sam, thank you as always.
My pleasure.
And that's it. We're done. Thanks for listening. It was The Week in Gaming. My name was Simon Miller. And we'll talk to you again sometime next week. You have to guess, but that's what makes it so much fun.